welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a really important episode in the saga of the Fall Guy cliff jump truck getting prepared for its final stunt this July 4th. You are looking at the mess before the mess all around behind me here as I prepare to convert my garage into a more proper painting space. I'm going to be painting this truck over multiple days, over multiple different modules, because it just takes up too much space all disassembled. I've got the doors, I've got the bed, and we have the obviously the tailgate for the bed. I'm going to be going through and taking that off and setting up where we can shoot in here. This right here is part of my madness to build a closeout on this door, set my fan in there so that I can exhaust the fumes on demand without letting all the cold air in between. Also, we will be utilizing the old Master Blaster 60,000 BTU. That thing is incredible. It's also incredibly dangerous. We have to be very cautious how we ventilate and use that in here. That's going to be important. So getting ready to get started. I've got some extra lighting I've picked up to brighten some things up. We'll be making this as proper as we can for what we're doing. You probably notice I look a little different. Maybe not, you probably didn't even notice at all. But if you didn't notice, I'm gonna let you know. I shaved off the old beard. That's to help the respirator get a good bite on my face. Just gonna be a lot of fumes in here, a lot of chemicals. And the more protection I have for my lungs and my nervous system, the better, because I'm already a little too crazy, you know what I mean? So that's it. Let's get started. Right now it's about 22 degrees and it's just going to get colder and colder. Wednesday through, well, goodness, through the end of the weekend, we're going to be single digits and beyond at night, you know, -12, Friday, -6. We are headed into some very severe cold weather, and that has a direct impact on what we do here, because even though I'm using an accelerated reducer made for colder temperatures, I still need to keep it 55. I need to keep the surface temperature, you know, 55 or 60 degrees. The truck is going off a cliff. Perfection is not the goal here. I do have some pinholes in some of the body filler, a few little oopses that you'll see here and there. I will spend some time here this afternoon, this evening, trying to work some of those out when I 400 block it. I think I got a little oops here, I got a few things, but overall, go back and watch my door video. These things came a long way in a short amount of time. Exactly what we needed them to. On the bed, I already had started doing a little blocking down, and overall it looks pretty good, but I'm gonna take a little bit of time to come back and hit this with some 400. Oh man, I got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna hit this with some 400 and clean it up. So, well, welcome to the madness. We're getting ready to lay down the gold on here. That's because this is a two-tone. I've got the doors set up like this. The reason why I have them vertical is because the bed and the front fenders and the cab, of course, are vertical. And since I'm painting these off of the truck, I want to make sure that as I spray, the kind of pattern I do is going to match up somewhat to everything going down the rest of the side of the truck. So we're working on that. In the garage, we have lots of extra lights. This is my heat source when I need to crank the temperature up. And I foamed in my door opening with my high output fan so I can do a quick evac of the fumes. So otherwise we're pretty sealed up. There's going to just be some tricks with this between getting the gold around the gas doors. It's going to be a little bit of effort to kind of make that look right. If we want to make this super right, we would want to lay a sealer down over it. We're not going to seal it. Anyway, I'm going to go mix the base coat, the gold. It'll be the first color to go on. It's mixed 1-to-1. I have a fast reducer to try to kick this thing off to dry more quickly. Temperature in here right now, it's always the clock when I look for some reason. It knows when I'm looking at it. 65. That's right where we want to be to make this happen. So let's go mix some paint and see some color. Big shout out to our friends over at CarQuest. Absolutely amazing. They sell both high quality auto parts and high quality paint products. They've got some great representation over there. I really appreciate their expertise back in the paint counter. It helps a lot for a do-it-yourselfer like me that only paints maybe a couple cars a year. So it's really, really good to have people that you can trust, people that know their products that can help out. And the thing about the products, they're always changing. There's always something else out there. So it's nice to work with people that know what they're doing. So again, thank you to CarQuest. Really absolutely amazing people. They are sponsoring the paint, the PPG paint line that's on this Fall Guy jump truck. I love the paint when everything comes together. Look at that. Isn't that cool? This is a super, super high metallic right here. Renault truck gold from like 1978. Apparently, that is the Fall Guy color. Pretty amazing that they actually custom painted every single truck on the show, obviously including the trucks that did the jumps and rolled over, flipped over, nosedived, all that. They took the time to paint them. So, get this in here, but this is pretty neat. This mixes 1-to-1. Using my higher end gun, it'll break this up and give me a little better spray pattern. But there you go. Beautiful, huh? Well, now that I'm in the ET suit, you know, to protect from alien contamination, here we go. Gold is on these panels. Well, what makes the Fall Guy truck is the iconic brown and gold, which is ironically not a General Motors color. But with that being said, I understand that it's 2 3/4 inches from this ridge up and 14 1/4 down. So what I did is I made up these magnetic strips that I can place at the crown of the body line, like so, and that just holds them there without putting a mark on the truck. And then, yeah, then I can slip my fine line tape here behind it. I've got the fine line tape to set it up, and then I have this roll of painter's paper, bleed resistant, water resistant, yada yada, to lay up here. So over the next little bit, I'll get all the gold covered, and we're good. I will tell you, outside it is raging. The wind is whipping. We're holding 58 in here right now. You can see the wind blowing the tarp out there. Hopefully that's not going to create too much of a problem when I open up my vent. Okay, like that. That's probably crooked. Perfect. Like that. Is what it is. Time is what it is. All right, guys and ghouls, we are getting close to putting the brown on. Paper, tape, got it all covered in the crucial areas. This is actually venting out a bit of air right now. It's very windy outside. All right, this is a good moment. I think I got the brown on. I really struggled with it, getting the coverage. I'm afraid when this gets in the sunshine, there's going to be some what they call mottling in it. I just struggled with getting it to break up and cover without zebra striping. But, you know, it's going over a cliff. Got to keep that in mind. It is going over a cliff. All right, guys, super excited. Just going to start the tacking process here, getting the dust off. And there's, you can see how that builds up from just the blow off from the base coat. Kind of gently wipe it with this. We'll go ahead and get the clear coat mixed. We're going to be using an Omni product for that as well. Be the Omni MC250 right here, urethane clear coat. And there it is in all of its clear coat glory. It's amazing what that does, you know? Just absolutely amazing. So it turned out pretty slick. I used a super fast reducer so that this thing would dry up on me in this cold temperature. And in the, you know, obviously when I lay something flat, I can just pour the clear on it. On the sides here, it did okay. I'm not seeing any runs right now, so I'm pretty happy about that. But, you know, you can definitely see all the body work in it. Again, this is a stunt truck. It's going to do one final amazing, incredible stunt, 300 foot in the air. But it'll have a little bit of a life before then. It's not like we're just going to do this and take it out and destroy it. It's going to have some opportunities to do some great things between now and then. But man, oh man, I'm going to go clean up, take a victory lap, and we're on to the cab and front end next. Time to do the cab. So it is brutal, brutal, brutal cold outside right now. It's going to be a challenge today to get this thing up to temp, to keep it up to temp, to do all the things we need to do to make this happen. But we're going to do it. Time to make this thing brown and gold. This is the filler panel that goes under the grill. It is ready to go. That's the cowl panel, goes on top under the windshield wipers. It's scuffed down. Time for the brown to go on. We've got all of our two-tone area two-toned off. We're going to hit the paint on here shortly. Looking amazing. Brown is down. Of course it rhymes. It's about time. Yeah, baby. And I don't have, excuse me, I don't have an ounce of brown left. So I didn't waste any filling in the back of the cab there. Man, I mean, we pushed materials to the limit, and there it is. So I am going to, what do we have in here for a temperature? 64. So I'm going to let this temperature come up out here and flash off. I'll pull the tape off, and then we're going to clear coat. We're going to call this thing done today. I am done. Done looking at it. All right, come on in here, take a look. I wish I could have brought you guys in while I was spraying, but just worried about damaging the GoPro in all the paint spray. Pretty happy with it. I mean, you know, for a truck that's going to be jumping off a cliff in about 5 months, who can complain? Do you guys remember these fenders? They like didn't even have a lip in them at one point. Hood was all smashed in over here, paint peeling off of it, fender missing the whole lip. Had no rocker down here, had no cab corner. I mean, that stuff was nasty. Okay, so this is the tailgate off the truck that we got down in Anchor Point. And what I did is I took some measurements off of it, transferred it over to this tailgate, and this should be the holes for where we want everything to go. This is the Chevrolet tailgate trim that was on the brown truck. And I have a newer style GMC emblem. This is actually just a throwaway, popped off. Oops, whoa. Got a little damage on it, and anyway, it's not really any good for much use, but what I'm attempting to do, now I do know, I was doing some research, and the GMC emblem should be on that side. However, the Chevrolet emblem was here, and there were lots of holes and damage in here where it goes. So the current plan, you see here, this has like these push tabs. So the plan is to grind out the gate, pop that on. We're going to call that good for the GMC bling. This is all, you know, doing its thing. I'm really super disappointed. The plastic that I put over the bed wasn't quite dry enough yet for it, and it stuck to it. and damaged the clear coat all around. And I'm sick about that. Just sick about that. Literally looks like scratches and stuff in it. I was hoping not to take the buff and wheel to it for any particular reason, especially since we actually didn't get any runs in it. It's actually slick. I mean, I'm very proud of how I laid this clear up, but I damaged it with the cover when I was doing that. This Milwaukee is amazing. There is a story behind this, being that this is a 3/4 inch drive, not a 1/2 inch. That's a 1/2 inch. There is a story behind it. Let me just say that my wife is amazing, and she always knows exactly when it comes to tools what I need before I even know I need it. She killed it by buying that for me this last year. That was amazing. But I thought I wanted a 1/2 inch that I could drive 3/4, like in this case, 3/4 inch size sockets. It's pretty common for wheel nuts and things like that. And in the conversation, she just heard me say 3/4. So she bought a 3/4. I mean, this thing is big money. I thought, oh no, it's too much power. But it's turned out for things like this to be so awesome, and I don't have to drag the air hose in here every time I need power. I take this with us when we go off-roading. If we have to get involved in changing a big tire on the Humvee or helping someone else on the trail, that's what you want right there. Anyway, we always start these out with a little bit of heat. It makes a huge difference in getting these nuts loose without breaking them and damaging them. We don't want to spend money on buying hardware that we don't have to buy. Yeah, I mean, that's what you want right there. You just want this stuff just to come apart like butter. Yeah, that's what you want. Okay. Sweet. All right, well, when I get all these off, we're going to drop this bumper and just figure out what to do next. So I'm going to sit down on the switch. And if you watch it, really watch this. Okay. You need to come down. Technically, it probably should go up a little bit. And I don't know how to achieve that without... You're a movie star. You're just you're the stunt double. She's the movie star. Stunt double, movie star. Okay. All right. Yeah, baby. We got doorage. Definitely got a bigger gap. I still don't go too far. Roll up.
There's a little piece on the inside.
All right, here we go. This is the very first graffiti on the Fall Guy Jump Truck, brought to you by my lovely wife and assistant, Nikki Ann. All right, love it. Very first message. All right, my turn next. Having some fun here, doing some pre-graffiti on the Fall Guy Jump Truck. We just want to put some messages on here that mean a lot to everybody. This is a very special day. We're celebrating our independence, July 4th, 1776. We're going to put this over the cliff on July 4th, 2024. Support our troops. Thank you to the veterans, happy birthday USA, fly high. We're gonna create some great memories, and I'm gonna put my signature on here right next to my lovely wife. Good luck if you can read that. I think I'm destined for fame and fortune, or some handwriting classes, one way or the other. Cannot wait till July 4th. This thing is going over a 300-foot cliff, and I hope that you'll come there with me. Please subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Are we in the back?
Trying to pick up off this.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, I- Brake drums?
Cleared on my side by several inches.
Okay, it's clear here too. All right, somehow we got. Okay. Wow. Oh, hang on. Well, we gotta go. Half inch. What's that country song? I got up on the wrong side of the truck bed this morning. Whew. All right. Sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Come again. Went outside to my brown truck that we got out of Anchor Point, Alaska, and it actually has some decent tail lamps on it. Josh donated several sets of tail lamps along with this truck, and they're in various conditions, and I actually think between the ones he donated and what I've got here, we're going to come up with something. I do have some of this polishing compound, and I have one of these little polishing deals that you get with a headlamp restoration kit. I'm going to see if we can apply some to this lens, get it to look like a proper fresh lens. You and me and you, we're going to be the only two that know these aren't brand new. Unless you tell a friend to subscribe and you share this link, and then, well, all bets are off then, because it'll be you, me, and your one friend. I guess the three of us. We might let Nikki in on the secret. I think this bolt right here will work. It's gonna work. Like a big part to this build is just adding all of that factory stock bling, you know. Good news is I figured out how to make my own gaskets. What I did is I took, what is it, 2-inch or 3-inch wide Gorilla Tape and folded it on top of itself, so it's tape on both sides. And I went up inside the door panel with a piece of poster board, held that on the outside, traced the shape of the door hole. Then I was able to put that on top of my Gorilla Tape chunk to get my center cut out. And once I got my center cut out, I was able to set that in place and trim with the scissors on the outside. And then I took a hot poker and went through here to make the hole for the bolt. And this one, very similar, actually way easier. So this one was just a matter of hot poker, little piece, getting it oriented, oops, something like that, and then doing it so that way we don't tear up the fresh paint. Here, got my little made up gasket. That handle actually turned out looking really nice. And on the inside here, I'm just glossing in some interior brown paint. I know, I'm insane. And gonna go ahead and paint the door panel black, so that'll be trimmed out. My big concern is that people will be able to sit in this, get pictures with it and stuff. I don't want all this raw metal in here. where someone's going to get a finger caught or cut. So we're going to cover it up, make it normal, like, you know, total factory cover up. This is maybe one of my lesser proud situations, but the reality is chrome bumpers are a little hard to come by for ones that you're just going to toss over a cliff. The chrome bumper on the brown truck outside is extremely rusted in the corners. That's no good. The gray one that we got out there, the gray, blue, whatever, the 3/4 ton, has no rear bumper. And the teal one down in Anchor Point that I didn't bring home, the rear bumper was completely rotted away. So we've got this one, and we've got cans of, quote, chrome paint. Did a little experimentation with it. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be what I really, really want, but we're going to compromise. The other thing we're going to compromise on is the seat. Where we're going, we don't even need a seat because no one's going to be driving, but we're going to be doing some driving between now and then. That's the seat out of the gray one, the 3/4 ton. It's actually factory blue, but gray or black, whatever color it is right now. That thing is hosed. I think that wrapped in a tarp to keep the water out of it is going to be just fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw the seat in it. I had my, I've been using my Humvee seats, and that's no good, obviously long term. That looks pretty snappy, huh? Looks great. So I'm looking at dropping a dash pad in it and maybe rhino lining the floor just to clean that up, and maybe doing something different with my fuel tank. But otherwise, we are good to go here to get this bench seat in it, and then I'm going to get some paint on the bumper and, you know, yada yada yada. We got a lot of things to do and a little amount of time to get it done. Well, that thing is jacked all the way forward. Looks funny like that. Oh, this is bent. That's nice. Well, my Amazon package arrived in the middle of setting this up, and I want to show you what we're going with. So this is the original style headlamp for the Silverado that has the quad lamps. A little confusing because some people call it the dual lamp versus the single. Obviously, it doesn't have a single lamp, but this truck originally had the, I guess, the singular larger lamp on each side, and we're converting it to the style that has the dual lamps on each side, which I'm calling quad, but words aside, the quad lamp is, I believe they consider it a 4x6 inch. This size lamp is used on a lot of vehicles from back in the 70s, 80s, maybe the 90s. I think the big Kenworth trucks and stuff use lights like this down on their fenders. Now, we're not using this on the jump truck because it's made of glass, and we're not supposed to have glass on these things when they go over the cliff, because people will be in the area after the truck lands, and you don't need sharp glass laying around. So there are a lot of options out there. Obviously, I wanted to keep the spin low because I'm essentially throwing these over a cliff, but I want to keep the wow factor up. Not sure yet if I made a good decision. I found these lamps. These things have this really crazy X pattern. They've got a blue glow in them, as well as I believe an amber up here maybe. And then of course they've got the headlamp. They come with a jumper lead that would, you know, come down here and take the place of where the original halogen lamp would be coming out of the sealed glass bulb. And then we have the two other inputs that are going to give us the blue or the yellow glow. I'm going to try to make some decisions how to put those in. But these are really a killer deal. I think the set of 4 was like 125 bucks. And honestly, if I was just replacing these with brand new halogens, I think those things are, you know, probably close to $20 a piece if I bought those new, just the glass bulbs. So this has a composite, you hear that? It has a composite plastic lens. This is gonna be okay for the, and I think it's gonna look really phenomenal in the photos and stuff. Here's what I'm up against. Let me show you, I'll be right back. So here's where we got a really good score on the truck front end that I cut off down in Anchor Point a couple of weeks ago, is that it was the quad lamp setup with the core support designed to hold the quad lamps, and of course the quad lamps. My interest in it was these buckets, because the buckets obviously hold the lamp in place, but to get the lamp to stay in the bucket, you have this trim ring that goes around. This is a real common issue with cars from the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe some in the 90s. They have the stainless rim, and then they have these little Phillips head screws that go in. And I will tell you that I don't care how good of a Phillips driver that you put in here, it's not gonna work, it'll spin out. So I'm gonna have to spend quite a bit of time applying some heat and then using a vice grip on the back of here and then turning these screws out, because that's how you get this off. Something else that is really cool, I've got the headlamp bezels that came out of the truck that we took apart in Anchor Point. Someone had painted them this teal color. My guess would be this truck was, the truck this came off of was probably repainted back in the, I'm gonna say the late 90s maybe, because in the early mid 90s, even late 90s, but really the early mid, General Motors was really big about using teal colors like this on everything, kind of a typical color of the time. A lot of people were rushing out and painting old vehicles that same modern, at that time, modern color scheme. It's just creating a lot of extra work for me because I've got to get all this flaked out of here. This should be an argent silver gray and obviously not teal. But here's the neat thing about these bezels. The bezels help me make sure I have the right orientation of the quad lamps, as you see. And now here's something super cool. So this is your radiator core support designed to house the quad lamp headlights, okay? This radiator core support is designed to house the duals. Again, people call that single, people call this the dual. I've already explained myself. But with this setup, obviously you have the headlamp blinker. With the quad lamps, you have headlamp, blinker. This was a very short run option for this style bumper. A lot of your square bodies put the blinker in the grille right here, and then they can have the quad lamp and the blinker. So to my very pleasant surprise, messing around, I discovered that at least in the lower lamp, the location for the little pin that holds it is in the same spot. So I'm able to put this lamp in here. Not sure yet how this one's going to go, but I do think, because if you'll look up here, this alignment pin, this is where you align your headlamps. It's in the right spot to hang the, it's in the right, see there's a little hook in here, in that, and it's in the right spot. Anyway, I'll show you when the time comes. But it's in the right spot to line up with that place on the bezel, meaning I'm going to be able to get these things in here, albeit not like you would if it was a permanent install, because I don't think you'd be able to fine tune align them. But they're going to go in without a lot of effort, I hope. I'm going to get these crazy headlamps in. I'm going to wire those up so that when the engine's running, they're going to glow, and it'll just be phenomenal, because as it comes over the cliff, it's going to be glowing alive until it isn't. This is kind of like one of those cooking shows. That side over there is done, but I did that off camera because everything I'm doing is pretty much, I'm making it up as I go, which is my favorite way to do things. So a couple things I learned. Obviously this is the core support for the dual headlamp version versus the quad headlamp version. And this is the appropriate bucket that would go into the right-hand side. And here's what I found out after all my fooling around, is the upper hole is actually, the upper holder's in the correct spot, or close enough. Other interesting thing is that the truck has a lower, there's a hole in the bottom here that you could mount a headlamp in, but there was no, this stud thing that goes in wasn't here, but the hole is there. So I was able to utilize it, and it actually allows you to orient this lamp in the right spot. Now, the problem is the outside one with the larger headlamp is too far over. So here's what I came up with. Since you can't drill a square hole very easily, at least with the tools I have, bring you in a little closer. So I can't drill a square hole. I do have to come in with this. And I had done some measurements between the two core support. The best way to really set this up is to just kind of eyeball it. So somewhere around here is where I want the outside one to be. I took some measurements off my original one, and yeah, I mean that's about right. Actually, there's a yeah, I mean that's going to be close enough. So to make this stick, the quick way of doing it, we're going to drill it out. This is like it's the 1 step smaller than a 1/4 inch. We're going to go in here and take a tap and just tap the sheet metal. Now I know I can actually take the stud without the plastic end on it. There we go. We get past that first little bit. It's pretty stiff. Yeah, baby. See what I mean by stiff? Okay. There we go. It's going in. So now we have a proper mounting stud on this side. So now we're going to come in and open the... Okay. So all that noise, and I don't have my other headlamp bucket. Did you guys see what I did with it? We got this one down here. Where is, oh, sitting in the old front end. Okay. Now what we're looking for, shoot. Did you guys see the screw just rattle its way right out? Yep. Now, another pretty handy thing is this spring is in an okay spot to put it into action, the one that comes with the setup here. So now we're just gonna close this top one up some, and there's a headlamp bucket. Boom. I mean, it's where we're going. That's in there. So we're going to repeat that with the exception of drilling with the exception of the Sawzall. So this is our quad lamp bezel, and we are hoping, yeah, I mean, let's see what happens when we put the bezel trim on, but I'm pretty darn sure that is as close as we need to be. That's exactly what we're after. Kind of twist and fit and move things a little bit, I think. But overall, man, I mean, that's how you get quad lamp square body where you had a dual lamp square body. Gonna get the LED lights in here and see you in a second. All right, so your finishing touch is the lamp. They've got these nice extenders on here that we're gonna put to use, figure out what to do. The red additional light that comes out of here illuminates the blue X pattern. The yellow additional wire out of here illuminates a amber lamp in it. I guess you could hook that up to your blinkers if that's what you want to do. And we have high beam, low beam. over here on the red. The other black is the ground. Yep. So a couple more screws, that's it. Trim piece. I've got to get some paint on those bezels that is in argent silver instead of this blue that someone had painted it. Makes such a difference. I hate that I'm still waiting on the grill because I would love to show you like the finished product here, but pretty doggone close as is. These were just cheapies off Amazon. They are low star. Anyway, I'm not going to put, I don't think I'm going to put bulbs in these. I just don't think I am. What I'm going to do in the meantime is tape that hole up because I don't want these things filling up with water. That would just be stupid. I may or may not come back and put lights in these at some point, make them glow for just pure cool factor. First pole is just parking lights. Boom. How cool is that? I love the LED ring and the blue in there. And then, pow. How cool is that? Yeah, pretty happy. Those are stinking awesome. It is roll bar time, and speaking of roll bar, we're going to make a roll call. I have these running board Nerf bar step bars that came in the bed of the 83 parts truck that's sitting outside, the 3/4 ton. Obviously they're not roll bars right now. I picked up this exhaust tube. This is 3-inch outside diameter. That is 3-inch outside diameter. These are 3-inch inside diameter couplings here. All right, let's get some welding done. Let me show you a skill that I just learned. Spent some time on the internet looking at ways to cope a pipe to get them to go together. On smaller type pipes like roll bars, this coping stuff, you can use a tool, a jig and stuff, but when you get into the larger ones, getting a jig to put a hole saw through is tricky. So what I did is I took some tape and I doubled it on itself so it's not sticky. Took my pipe, I folded it in half and then in fourths, creating this look right here. All right, once we have it where we know where the 4 spots are, we're going to mark them on both sides. Right. Draw my line through them. So I'm going to roll that up to that lip. Okay, kind of hard to see. And then I'm just going to draw that out. Draw that out. Flip it over. Center that up on the mark. Draw it out. Draw it out. All right, there it is. So because of science or because of math or because of something, I've now got a deal that's going to go over the other pipe. So I do have to take the grinder and clean it, kind of smooth it out, and then I'm ready to weld that onto the roll bar. How cool is that? I'm kind of going in too far, so I cut the end off. It's 3-inch pipe. Technically, if I want to go exactly through, I would need to be at what, 1.5 inches depth. But I'm going to sit back a little bit from that because you've got that rounded portion. But I'm going to spend a little time with the grinder and make that a little bit more rounded, and then it's going to go on. We're going to be able to fit these other pieces up. Okay, here we are again with a paint mask on because I was just spraying some silver paint. This is my version of the Fall Guy roll bars. I know that this is not accurate to the truck. However, I have in materials there actually on it probably $40. So 40 bucks for a roll bar that is made out of a Nerf bar, step bar. And again, as I look closer, it was damaged. That one is bent too sharp, so must have been an accident and got shortened up a little bit there. But where we're going, it's going to work well. This is behind the cab, so you don't even really see that. And be able to mount lights on it, whatever. But yeah, a little bit of chrome paint and chrome and welding. My welding is terrible. Go ahead, you can say it. But other than that, good Lord, we have a Fall Guy roll bar. It is. Pay no attention to how poorly that fits right there. Pretend I didn't even just point that out. But yeah, roll barge, light bars. Let's just call those light bars because there ain't really roll bars. That's gonna work. I mean, I know these are supposed to go at an angle and those are supposed to curve. It's what we're gonna get for 40 bucks, okay? So yeah, sweet. Okay, now it's time for the pinstripe. And while I've been looking forward to this, I'm also not, because I'm probably gonna end up making it look like this. But we're gonna give it a shot. Get this on, and I'm gonna run some. So some of you may know by now, because I've ratted on myself, that I screwed up this entire bottom line of the paint color. I should have brought the brown up to here. I think you guys knew that. You were watching my paint video. But you let me do it anyway. Is what it is. We're gonna make some lemonade out of our lemons. We're just gonna go ahead and put the molding on anyway. It's gonna be a little bit off. It won't be sitting the same line as that through the fuel door, but it's gonna be our version, unfortunately, because I messed up. So here's where I messed up. And my fix is, I raised it by a quarter of an inch with this black tape, so it kind of hides underneath there. And then I went ahead and ran the molding right along the bottom. Perfectly fine, looks okay. It's only going to run into a problem if I was going to run it under the tailgate, and I'm not. So we're going to end it here, and then that'll be it. So just you and me, that's it. Just you and me, absolutely nobody else will know that this whole molding is about 1.5 inches too low. Maybe 2 inches too low. Either way, it's too low. But no one will know it but you and me. Got the red on. This is really not easy at all. But making progress. A big issue with this is making sure my garage is warm enough. We need, 50 plus degrees on here, which we've got. But wow, I mean, that just so dresses it up right off the bat. Look at the roll bars. Okay, back to this. Well, it's time for my giant Fall Guy Association sticker. Nikki and I have been looking at different videos. Some videos show how to install these wet. Some show how to install them dry. But the one thing that we did see, they talked about the hinge method. And so the hinge method just means you're only going to do half of it at a time, really. They put markings on this outer paper to center it. Does that look pretty centered? So, I mean, that's 2 pieces of tape. You think it needs 3? To hinge it. Lifting everything. It's not sticking out here. This is so stressful. wings are... Well, here's our first look out in the sunshine. Bed still has to be treated with something. That pink is not going to do well. Pinstripe on, molding on. Got to come up with some kind of mirrors for it, some kind of glass that's made of plastic that I can trim and put into those modules there. Here's the money shot right here. Look at this. Love those headlights. Still got some bubbles in the sticker. Got to work that out. How about that? For a couple months worth of work. 3 other trucks donating their parts. And there it is. So what's next? What's next? So we got to get it lifted. It's got to be 4 to 6 inches on a lift kit. Looking at 37-inch tires. 35s would be fine. I guess I could live with 33s. We definitely need to raise it. I've got the front crash bar. I've got to work that on there. I've got a winch I have to pick up for it. Need to do some polishing on the paint. I'm going to let it dry up a little bit more. The transmission is leaking so bad that I'm going to have to put a seal in it before we jump it, which is just awful, but true. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I think, is going to be dropping the trans and changing that front seal. I'm probably going to do a little bit more wiring on it, so once we get the other lights, we just get that, pop. So we got our roll bar, bumper. That's the correct bumper for the Hero truck. We got the correct striping. Yeah, coming along with just a few more details. Yes, if you look at the body, it's waving at you. Remember, this truck is going over a cliff, and the extra 100 hours that I could have spent guide coating, blocking at this point is useless. So yeah, I mean, you guys have been following along since the beginning. You remember we didn't even have a front end. We had no doors. It wasn't running. We were missing lots of engine parts. We moved along, found the original front end pieces to it, got doors, got it running, been a lot. I've got a bench seat in here that came out of that donor truck. We're going to throw something on it to make it waterproof. I've got the dash out of the 87 in here, just so we don't have all that raw metal. But yeah, I don't know what's going to be the best thing for this, but I'd like to put something in here because it looks obviously very incomplete. My moldings turned out okay. Those of you that know on the Chevrolet, that molding should be higher by 1.5 to 2 inches or so. This molding should actually be riding up here. It was all about the gas door. I was really confused about how to do this, and it turned out fine, the way that I did do it. The jams are browned in, like almost like we were trying to fully restore it. There's very little of the original silver and just this pink left in here. That's got to go. So I'm okay with the chrome paint on the bumper. I would have liked to have done a chrome bumper. It's okay. GMC should be on that side. It's on this side because that's where the Chevrolet was and the holes were there. So I just put it on that side. Plus it's all chewed up over here. It's perfect for going over the cliff. So yeah, there it is. I mean, what else do you want for what we're going to do?